welcome to Sam's Jam. Sans Sam. I'm your host, Tony. This is Halloween Horror Pod, an extension of the Halloween Horror Hour, the scare variety show available on SCC TV 28, Tubi, Roku, Plex, and YouTube. And that's right, it is the third episode of our ever-growing playlist of the macabre music. We have two new guests, two returning, and 12 new songs. First up, we have Steve from Halloween is Forever.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the show. How are you? And tell us about Halloween is Forever.
I'm doing good. I am one of the co-hosts of Halloween is Forever. We are a horror movie focus, but we get into some other stuff. We'll do Halloween candy and costumes and all kinds of other spooky ooky things every Monday. But yes, me and my co-host Brian will just talk about horror movies, and usually we do a showdown episode at the beginning of the month where we take a topic and then we decide what the best movie is of that topic, and then we'll follow that up with a punishment film, which will be usually one of the worst movies we've ever watched ever, because we both have a never-ending grab bag of films to torture each other with.
Sounds like a great time. Next up, we have Kelly from Final Girls Podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I've been lucky enough to be on a couple of those punishment episodes on Steve's podcast, and they're so much fun. Please listen to them. Yes, so Final Girls Podcast, I host with my co-host and sister-in-law, Sarah, who ironically is probably better qualified to be here instead of me because she's the music person. And so if I sound like a total noob when I'm discussing music, please forgive me, because I'm kind of like rediscovering music right now, as I'm kind of an like eternal podcast listener. And so recently I've been peppering in more music again. And so I listened to all the songs on the playlist. They were all super fun. So I'm actually excited to start like taking on some of this again.
I think it'll be a good perspective to have. So thanks again for joining us. And returning for these episodes, we have Mike. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. Getting ready for filming the 4th season of the Halloween Horror Hour, trying to write some more Van Vidal skits, because that's the character that I deal with. I'll flood your zone. And but yeah, just having too much fun.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have Halloween himself. How are you doing, Ian?
Hey, what's up, Tony? Yeah, excited to be talking more music. These playlist episodes have been a ton of fun for me. I mean, I have like a 25-hour Halloween playlist myself, so rebuilding it with other people and getting introduced to new spooky songs that I haven't heard before is an absolute jam of a time.
Heck yeah. Sounds like it's going to be a good time to get today, guys. All right. So should we kick it off? I believe the playlist has Mike first with Johnny Cash. Delia's Gone.
Well, in the past, I've sometimes had a bit of a theme, but I've noticed really a lack of country music songs on our playlist. The closest I think that I've come as dealing with the Cramps was Psychobilly in, I think, the first episode. I definitely recommend going and listening to the first couple of episodes. The second episode, I was trying to do a lot more danceable, creepy songs. This time, it's all country, and the classic country murder ballad has to be Johnny Cash's Delia's Gone. He has a woman who's mean and trifling, and he just shoots her. And it's just, I don't even think he has a really good reason for shooting her, but she's dead, and he's singing about it.
I mean, sometimes the easiest solution is the best solution, right?
I don't think this is an Occam's razor situation, Tony.
But I mean, there's a long tradition of relationships gone wrong in country and traditional folk music, and so this song actually, and the next song that we'll talk about, they go back much further than just their hits in the 50s to the 70s. There's this tradition of things going wrong and people doing wrong things, and country music is kind of a lot about things going wrong to begin with. So that was where I chose that.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of like country, western, and blues. I know Kitchen Witch, Carla listens to the blues programming on KXP all the time, and about half the songs are about killing your cheating partner. So, and there was that Guinness Book of World Records that was set by the most people playing Hey Joe on guitar together, and that song is also about that, taking the gun downtown to shoot his old lady. So yeah, I think there's a rich tradition of murdering your infidelitous partner.
And Johnny Cash is always a good time.
Yeah, sure. I really love the album that this comes from. This comes from the American Recordings album, and I believe it's the early 90s. That's just like, it's a great album overall, but it has another song on there that is a cover by one Glenn Danzig. Johnny Cash does a cover of his 13. I think most people have heard that song at the beginning of the Hangover film. But,
Oh, yeah.
the Johnny Cash cover is on that album. And then I believe at the end of that album is another song, The Man Who Couldn't Cry. So like I really loved this album. And so I also love Delia's Gone, but it is like it's a real brutal opening to that album of just like, just a guy who's going out drinking and like, hey everybody at the bar, I just blasted away, my ex-wife. So let's all have a round on that because you're not going to see me again ever either.
Right. All right. Kelly, do you have any thoughts on this song?
Yeah, there is a sorry.
As the one woman on the show, how do you feel about women getting shot?
I know. I was like, ooh, what input do I have as like speaking on behalf of final girls everywhere? No, I think we have a mix of songs in like today's list that I think go both ways. And so like it's okay. Like when you get spooky songs, you're going to get both. And, there's obviously a long tradition, especially in horror, of women meeting terrible, terrible fates
Oh, yeah.
at the hands of men. And so is it surprising? No. And of course, I can't expect a fun, like, final girl revenge arc at the end of a fucking Johnny Cash song. But, sorry, can we curse? Should have asked
Absolutely.
that.
This is an explicit show. Yeah.
Okay.
Swear all you want.
I should have asked that. But like, no, it's still a great song, and no, it doesn't like rub me the wrong way or anything. It's a great song. Enjoyed it.
Good to hear. All right, then should we jump to the next song? It'd be Steve's choice, Drew in the Blue, Oogie Boogie. Kick us off, Steve.
Right on. So Drew in the Blue is a band that my co-host Brian discovered. He was working at a brewery out in Philadelphia, and I believe Drew in the Blue, they list themselves from Reading, PA, but they play a bunch of shows like up and down that kind of East Coast part of Pennsylvania, and they are purely like fueled by the Cramps that we've already mentioned. I think you can hear a little bit of Misfits influence. I don't think Drew would deny that, but they are mainly like garage and surf rock, so it's very purposely underproduced, just to maintain that like real edge to the music. So yeah, they're great. But Brian discovered this band, and then we subsequently had Drew on our show, the eponymous Drew of Drew in the Blue. We've had him on our show a couple times just to talk horror movies, because a lot of the songs that they produce, have that kind of horror bend to them. And with this song, Oogie Boogie, it's off their first full album release from 2022, but it specifically mentions Halloween, and it's just a song. It has a little bit of that flair of the Misfits Halloween, of just all the devilish activities you can get up to, but it has more of a sock hop flair to it, where, there's even like a little dance they mention where you can just put up your left hand, put up your right, and then, do a little dance about it. But they're also mentioning, switchblades and cutting off somebody's head and mounting it on the wall. So yeah, there's devilish activities, but it is so fast paced and fun that you can miss those more darker elements of the song. But yeah, that's I think that's a general good introduction to this band, which they're smaller, but I hope more people learn about them, because especially this audience should definitely enjoy their music.
Yeah, I mean, I had never heard of this band, so thank you for introducing me to them. They remind me, like, I get similar vibes from like the Phantom AD. There's a lot of surf rock bands that play out at bars here in Seattle. This is like, I'm going to reach out to this band because they are the prime kind of vibe that we go for with the Sam's Jams music video segments on the Halloween Horror Hour. Would love to have them on. So yeah, I've been listening to this album for 3 days now. It's absolutely fantastic. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad. I couldn't resist in not picking it. I was like, I know I know, like, they're kind of big. They've done small tours. They were on tour for a little bit with a Talking Heads cover band. I forget the name of it, but the Talking Heads cover band is actually kind of popular, but I forget their name. But they're on tour with them for a little bit. So like, yeah, they've gotten exposure, especially in the PA, East Coast area. But I just didn't think they've made their way out to, the West Coast. And so I'm hoping because of their, surf influence, which I know is, still popular out that way, that maybe they'll find a bigger audience out there too.
Yeah, I really dug it, and I've added a lot of these onto my like personal Halloween playlist that I've made a few years ago, and this was one that was like instantly like boop, that's added. All right, any other thoughts on Oogie Boogie?
Well, yeah, but I was wanting to give Kelly a chance to talk before I blather on.
Oh gosh. Okay, first of all, I don't know if I'm gonna have input on every single song because, like I said, still learning. But I will say that this one was, yeah, it is kind of funny when you try to search for this before typing in Drew in the Blue, and it's just all references to Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think Steve meant for like to specifically be like a song from this movie. And then I didn't realize that Drew in the Blue was like a local band. But that's really cool. I was like getting attention drawn to like local music, so that's cool. Thanks for sharing.
Well, I definitely found that, it's very easy to see that they're placing themselves as a psychobilly inheritor of the Cramps, or other bands, like Necromantic or something. But I don't know if this would really be part of the new dark country or country goth, because it seems like it might be a little too surf rocky, but it's definitely their music video, especially with the like really stripped down drum set that the lead singer has, was giving me a very kind of Violent Femmes vibe for their stage act. But it was a good song. I liked, I've got some real TV set, Cramps TV set vibes from some of the lyrics. And I really, really enjoyed the song, and it is kind of creepy just throwing that kind of horror show imagery into a song like that. I mean, definitely a song about a dysfunctional relationship, which I think almost all of these are.
Yeah.
Good talks. All right, next, first song from Kelly, we have Muse, You Make Me Feel Like It's Halloween.
Yeah, speaking of dysfunctional relationships, I've loved this song since the moment I first heard it, just as a longtime lover of Halloween, as I'm sure we all are. It just has a really strong, like, punch you in the face Halloween vibe, like, from the moment the song starts. You can imagine it playing in a haunted house, like, when you walk in. And maybe this is cheating a little bit, but one of the reasons that I love this song is partly because the music video really carries that vibe also. And so you haven't seen the music video, it's a haunted house music video, and it basically looks like a video game. It's CGI animated, and it also contains many, many Stephen King references. Sarah and I are big Stephen King fans, and this one, just to list a few, it has The Shining. It has the balloons, the raincoat, the paper boat. It has references to Misery, Christine. It even has references to Scream, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and then Slipknot for no reason. But it's super, super fun to watch and to listen to. And I think Muse is always just really reliable. I think, I don't know how Muse is considered nowadays in the music community, in terms of like if they're still like widely popular or not. But I always found them to be really solid, and I still like them. I really like this song, and the kind of like, it really puts me in the mood for like damn, I wish it was closer to Halloween right fucking now. And the lyrics make me feel that way too. So, it's just kind of got this like dark, spooky vibe. I highly recommend to anyone who hasn't heard it or seen the music video. What has everyone heard this song or seen the video?
Yes, definitely. I went through a really big Muse phase in probably, I want
Hasn't
to say like,
everyone?
yeah, it was like 2007, and I
That checks
was,
out.
yeah, I was such a big fan
Yeah,
at the time
exactly.
that I took my Jackson guitar and I actually cut out a big chunk of wood from it and installed a chord chaos pad in the back end because the lead singer of Muse had this like effects pad on his guitar. So I was really into like Muse and Minus the Bear at the time. So I was doing a lot of tapping on my guitar and then using the chaos pad, and I totally just ruined this amazing Jackson
Ooh,
guitar to like install this chord chaos pad in the back just so I could look more like the guitar player from Muse. So yeah, no,
Sure.
I big fan of this. Supermassive Black Hole was a very influential
Oh,
song for me.
until Twilight used it, and then it's like, fuck off, man. God
I've
damn it.
never seen Twilight, so
They
it
use
didn't get
it.
ruined for it didn't
They
get ruined
use
for me.
it in the most infamous scene of Twilight, which is the goddamn vampire baseball scene.
Ugh.
So like,
Oh,
yeah.
it's so painful. Anyway, so god fuck. Anyway,
brutal.
sorry.
I'll definitely have to check out the music video. I listened to the song earlier. I don't think I've ever seen the music video though. Now I'm like even more like, I love Muse and their music videos are always top notch. So
It's really
yeah.
cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, I hadn't heard this one before, although I like Ian, I had a similar arc of being a Muse fan because they went on just like a pretty solid 3 to 4 album streak with Origin of Symmetry and then up till, but I kind of fell off with the Second Law.
Mm.
So I hadn't heard this album or this song or saw this video until you brought it up. I like it. It's fun. It seems like it's still different from like the rest of the album because I started listening to other tracks on that. I was like, this one really sticks out, and I was wondering if it was like maybe made for a movie or something or didn't. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then I couldn't get it out of my head, but there is a little synth hit within this that sounds exactly like the Goosebumps synth.
Yes.
It's in the
Okay,
Goosebumps
thank
theme.
you. That's
like-
one of the reasons that I like it so much.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah, I just couldn't get it out of my head, but I had like I listened to the song probably like 3 times in a row, just trying to like I couldn't remember that it was the Goosebumps synth hit because like they're
100%.
running like organs and synths throughout the song, which is which is pretty different for Muse, like having the straight
Yeah.
organ in there. But yeah,
I think that's intentional. I think it's
Oh, yeah, for
totally
sure.
intentionally evocative of Goosebumps,
yeah,
which I also love. So
yeah, Goosebumps and just 80s horror movies in general. Like, yeah, the vibe
yeah.
is, they perfectly capture the vibe of like nostalgic
Yes,
media.
Goosebumps.
This
But,
definitely goes toward. I mean, it's a very meta song,
Mhm.
but it's a very danceable, creepy song with a dysfunctional relationship,
Yeah,
mhm.
and of course, it has the word Halloween in the title. But a
sure.
lot of the meta that you guys are bringing up, I'm not actually getting, especially the Goosebumps
Mm.
thing, because I'm older just a little bit than most of the people here. So I think like in 2007, I had shifted over and I was obsessing over like big beat and techno and whatnot. And my earlier obsessions were things, like Kiss or whatnot. But the
Is the last baby boomer.
pretty much, yeah, December 31st, 1964. But I still am very much more Gen X. But I can see where this song, I can see where this song would mean a lot more to a millennial audience. But I could also see just from things that I've been listening to recently that millennials out there, or even Xenials, depending on how old you are, you could take something like Muse and really introduce it to the Sleep Token crowd and expand their world. So I don't know if Muse is as popular as they were, but I think they definitely have a place where you can introduce them to people that are listening to music that was probably influenced by Muse.
That's a
But
good
this
point.
song in and of itself, I think, was definitely a good song, very danceable, very creepy. And yeah, it does make me want to go back and do a deep dive on Muse.
Sounds like a good time. Yeah, that was a good time. Ian, we have, is it Godiego?
Godiego,
Go good.
Godiego.
I go, yeah. I'm like, there's like a dozen different ways I could read it. So, but Oriental Melon Man, tell us about this song.
Yeah. So Godiego is a Japanese rock band that was founded in the 70s. This song is from the movie House, or many people pronounce it Hausu, but the the pronunciation is house because the last vowel is actually swallowed in the Japanese dialect. So House is an amazing movie from 1977. It is based on the director's young daughter's nightmares, and it is a haunted house movie. And so I selected kind of the spookiest song off this album because most of the album or most of the soundtrack for the movie is actually very like jazzy and uplifting because it is kind of disorienting. But yeah, I mean, I love this soundtrack. I love this movie. And I do have a theme. We are going to be talking about Japanese music today on all of my selections, except for one is actually just a band called Japan, but they're actually a British band. So that'll be a slight deviation. But so I had to include Good I Go on there. Yeah, love this track, love this movie. If you haven't seen House, go watch House. Like, stop listening to this podcast and go watch House.
I will chime in on this one. I've actually been wanting to watch House forever. And so if anyone knows where I can stream that, please tell me. Because I've long been interested in that.
Canopy. Get your library card
yeah.
and use one of your credits on Canopy, the streaming service. And yeah, it's free through your library and you can watch House on there. So
Canopy is fantastic.
Okay, cool. Was this the instrumental one of your choices?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad that you chose this because I also was the only other person who chose an instrumental track, and I wasn't sure if that was like allowed, encouraged. I thought it was because I had gone through the other like songs that were previously covered, and I was pretty sure there were some on there. So, but I was glad there was another one in this batch, and specifically from like a movie score, and because I think that is it's a fun thing to have in a playlist because very few things bring you back to the sense of experiencing a movie, like obviously hearing a track from the score. And not every track is like translatable in that way when you just hear it in a vacuum. You know, a lot of things are meant to be experienced within like the context of the movie. And so if you just hear it with like, you know, in a mix of other songs, then it's going to be weird. But then there are some songs that can kind of like nicely mingle amidst the rest. And so this was a really interesting track. And I enjoyed hearing it mingled with the others. So thank you for choosing this. And yes, I will definitely look up Canopy and find this movie that I've been dying to watch. So
It is Canopy with a K.
okay, thanks for clarifying.
Yes, yeah. No, it's a great service. If you have a library card, you can get Canopy, just like Libby. Access your local libraries. We're a bunch of dirty socialists here, so you know.
I did like this song a lot. It really reminded me of the last Halloween Sam's Jams, where I did bring in Skinny Puppy's Stairs and Flowers. And that was, it had samples, but it was primarily instrumental. But that whole atmospheric weirdness so it's not, it doesn't say the word Halloween. It's not making it, so it's not a Halloweenish song, but, and House is just a surrealistic sideshow of things being thrown at you with a very Japanese sensibility wrapped around the horror. I appreciate the movie. I'm not going to watch it as obsessively as Ian, but I do appreciate the movie, and I really liked this song and how it even just totally separate from the movie. You play this for people, and if they're not creeped out or totally uncomfortable by the end of it, then they're they probably know the movie too well then. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, and even on the first Sam's Jams, we did have the Berlioz symphonic piece. So I mean, you can really go far afield when you're looking for creepy music.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this one too. I just in general like, like jazz and funk, and this is like a jazz funk fusion that also employs traditional Japanese instruments. But the whole time there's this discordant chorus of constant like wailing, and it just feels like a ghost. And I couldn't help but think on one of my just regular listening playlists, I have this cover of Take Five by Minoru Muraoka. So it does the same thing. Like it's a cover of Dave Brubeck's Take Five, but it also employs like traditional Japanese instruments. And I couldn't help but think of that song just constantly being interrupted by ghosts. That's that's where this track led me. So that's I was a big fan of this. And then I listened to some of the other tracks on the album as well. So yeah, it has an interesting, funky, fresh feel to it that is obviously in contrast to the wild, surrealist imagery that you would see in the film.
Ito, I think it's track 4 is actually my favorite, but I couldn't bring myself to put that on a spooky music playlist because it's just straight like uplifting jazz the entire time. So
Sure.
Yeah. I have not seen the movie, but now it's on my list of things to check out on Canopy. All right, let's continue on. Mike, we have Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds featuring PJ Harvey, Henry Lee.
This is another classic murder ballad. Actually, this one goes even pre-country. It has origins back in Scotland, Ireland, or England. And it is not murder ballads, and a lot of the country music can be very kind of patriarchal and misogynistic. And so this is actually kind of a flip on that. The woman is spurned by Henry Lee, and she basically says, well, if I can't have you, nobody can. And they did change the lyrics from the straight traditional Henry Lee, but I'm such a fan of both Nick Cave and PJ Harvey. Having them both do a duet, it was just so luxurious. I just, and it's just the creepiness is just right. They're so beautiful together, but then they both love these kind of creepy vibes, so that they singing together, they have all this creepiness that it's just kind of underneath everything they're doing. And they're it's like they're lovingly talking about killing this guy and throwing him down a well. And so that was my choice for the less misogynistic murder ballad.
So less misogynistic murder ballad. Okay. First of all, I just love the term murder ballad in general. It's just like, really evokes.
But this actually came from a song from Nick Cave's album entitled Murder Ballads, where every one of the songs was a murder ballad in one way or another.
Nice.
But
okay.
it's so that's thematic for you. But yeah, that's definitely a tradition in country and traditional music, the murder ballad.
Well, I appreciate what you said at the start of the recording, which is that like country tends to be a little like underrepresented here. And like I'm not a huge country fan, but I do appreciate the kind of more like bluegrass like kind of tones that get brought in occasionally. I actually live in a pretty rural area of Northern California, not like the south of, the country or anything, but and so I'm exposed to a bit more of that than I think the average Californian is. And I actually really enjoyed your music choices overall, and I'm excited to talk about your last song on the list. But this one I also actually really liked. And that's kind of what I was referencing earlier when I mentioned that there was a flip. There's the violence against women in the first one, and then that gets switched up here. And so I'm curious when you mentioned that the lyrics were changed from the original version of Henry Lee. So like, what are you referring to there?
Primarily a third verse where they do mention the bird coming down onto Henry Lee in the song, but she actually has a conversation with the bird. She's trying to lure the bird in so she can kill the bird too, because the bird witnessed her act. So she's trying to clean up afterwards, and they kind of dropped that third verse because it didn't. I think it was some editing to make sure that the story didn't get distracting.
Interesting. Okay.
But
they also dropped the part where she gets burned at the stake.
Oh.
Yeah, if you go back to the, I like this song so much that I did I did looking into it, because at first it had the title Henry Lee, so I thought it was going to be about Henry Lee Lucas, which it
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, which it wasn't. But
No.
uh, in digging, I did I did a whole bunch of back digging into like all the original versions and everything, and like Mike was just saying, yeah, like there is like more verses where like she gets in a fight with the bird because the bird is chiding her for killing her love, and she's like, I'm gonna shoot you with an arrow. And then even further verses are about like people discovering the body, and then she gets
Oh,
burned at the stake for it. But it's still like she's still righteous in the fact that like she disposed of him. But yeah, it's
interesting.
yeah, there's like tons and tons of versions of it that go back to like like you're saying 1700 Scotland. So it's like they changed the name. It's not always Henry. Sometimes it's like Earl, and sometimes it's about a knight named William. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's a long tradition.
Are you saying that Earl has to die?
Yeah, that came into my mind also. The Chips version.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a good time. Murder ballads all around. Ian, did you have any more thoughts on this one?
Nope. I think it was all covered. Yeah, I also had the Henry Lee Lucas thing jump into my mind. I will say it's pretty wild that this is the first Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds songs to end up on the playlist when he has one of the most notorious horror movie songs of all time in Red Right Hand, which I'm sure someone will bring to this playlist at some point in the future. This episode comes out in July, but Mike and I were just at Crypticon last weekend, and I lost my voice for a couple of days after our karaoke night. But we did sing along to Red Right Hand at one point, and I screamed my voice out singing "Hallowed Be Thy Name" by Iron Maiden. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. And next we have Steve Whodini, Haunted House of Rock.
I had to include this one because it's just such a silly, like underrepresented rap song. But like, you can find a number of rap songs out there that are like, I think there was like a monster rap that came along in the '80s that was like a new take on the Monster Mash. But the Haunted House of Rock is such it's the type of rap that people reference when they're like, "Hey, my name is Steve, and I'm here to say." Like, because it's such the corny, innocent rap that people were just really getting introduced to in the 1980s. Like, this is early '83 that this song comes out, and it's purely just for like dance clubs and stuff. Like, it's not meant to tell a story beyond going to a haunted house. It's not meant to bring light to any kind of social issues or anything like that. It is just the straight up cornball. Like, we saw Dracula having Bloody Marys, and it's like, hell yeah, dude. I'm glad you had a fun time. It was awesome. But like a lot of Whodini's songs were like that, especially on the first album that this comes off of. They have another song on the album's Magic's Wand. But another song on that is called Rap Machine, and it's literally just a dude rapping against a robot that was programmed to rap. So it's just more silly
It's amazing.
Robots always taking our jobs.
Yeah. But yeah,
Well,
I picked this one because it just has like the most on the nose lyrics. It's just a funny, silly song, but I don't think enough people knew about it, and I just wanted to bring it to light. Although I did consider their much bigger hit, "Freaks Come Out at Night," which I think more people know that song, and I do unironically love that song. But this one is just, I don't know, it's more on the nose and silly, and I like it for that.
Yeah,
I do
think
know that song.
it's
Yeah.
worth mentioning that Whodini is Whodini because they do
Mhm.
the call and response thing, and it is WHO. I mean, everything about this group is like Grandmaster D is their turnstile guy. Jaleel Hutchins, who is their main lyricist and rapper on this track, was also in Chasing Amy, Jewel of the Nile, Blood Diamond. So he's done some acting throughout the years, I guess one per decade up until 2006. Yeah, and I mean, this is This is just a jam. This is absolutely like the kind of 80s hip hop that, like you said, my name is Ian and I'm here to say, like that kind of very early hip hop style is just, it's such a great flair. Love it.
It's so much fun. The lyrics are so goofy, like you said. I mean, there's stuff like one of these days they're gonna catch him red-handed, not for sneaking in free, for being a booty bandit. Like it's just I love that you put this one in amidst like Nick Cave stuff and just like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
darkest the
Well,
darkest
I mean, based on
imaginable.
my own choices, I was like, because Oogie Boogie's a little rough, and then my final song
We have
was
like Cannibal Corpse.
yeah,
and,
incredibly rough. So I was
and
like,
so why
let's
not?
do a fun one. Let's do a fun one,
Sure, a little
everybody.
palate cleanser. I love it.
It can definitely show the broad range of what might be considered spooky Halloween music.
Yeah.
Although this is not the first rap song to make it onto the Sam's Jams podcast. In the first episode, we had Megan Thee Stallion and another band that I cannot think of right now.
Nine.
Ian probably
Tech,
will.
yeah, Tech Nine was also on the first episode, and then in episode 2, I don't know if you call it hip hop, but Ash Nico, yeah,
Yeah. Well, and the Meat Meat Manifesto song, God O.D. Part 1, had more of an industrial rap than a rap. But but no, this was, I mean, I had not heard of the band before. I looked at the album cover and it's like, wow, they look like Belle Biv DeVoe, which probably dates me a lot. But no, the rap from the early 80s, and this was even before, I mean, like this was just barely after Rapture from Blondie. So it was like the world really didn't
first
have
rap
a
song.
good.
Yeah, the very
Yeah.
first. Yeah, because Blondie invented rap. Yep.
Yeah.
No, she did not. She was hanging with Fab Five Freddy but it's the early 80s or the 80s rap and even going up through like what was it, Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang and whatnot. Just it's very different, and you move into the 90s with the two 90s rappers that everyone, Biggie and Tupac, and just it's so different than rap now. It's just the history of rap, and this rap novelty song, kind of like the Rap Monster Mash, which I think you had mentioned previously. But it was a fun song. It was very, it's not hardcore. It's definitely a fun party song from back in the days when the MCs were doing the mixing and just thinking up cheeky things to say in between songs or over some songs. And it was I like the song because it's a good kind of rap history while being both novelty and a little spooky.
For sure. All right. And if nobody else has anything else to say, then we will move on to Kelly's next song, Khemmis, A Conversation with Death.
Okay, so if you heard the song, this is clearly a version of the very famous, goes back into the 1900s song, Oh Death, which is so old that they actually don't know who did the original version. And it actually was a real struggle for me to choose a version to include on this playlist because there are many different versions that I like. And I was introduced to this song in a couple of very nerdy ways. First, because this is, wow, this is an embarrassing admission. I heard this song when I used to watch Supernatural with my friends, and there was a teaser trailer that introduced the character of Death to Supernatural, and they played this song in the teaser, and it was a really cool version done by an artist called Jen Titus. You actually can't find this song like separate online. It's not on Spotify or anything, although I'm sure you can watch the teaser on YouTube. And they had this really cool actor for Death. He's really unique looking. And I was like, shit, that song was hella cool. Then years later, I heard the song again when I was playing the game Until Dawn, which is an amazing game that, of course, they made into a not so amazing movie. Don't watch
Love
the
that
movie.
We can. I absolutely am a defender of that movie, but I don't
Hey,
want to derail us.
listen.
We
Let's
watched the movie.
Okay, listen. It's not the worst movie ever made. It's watchable. I've watched it and it's okay. It's fine. I appreciate the spontaneous combustion element. That's really the only reason I stayed with it. But
Edit that out. Edit that out. It's a
oh
good.
shit, sorry.
That's such a
Bleep
good
it.
surprise for the
Sorry,
film.
you're right. I'm so sorry. Edit
Spoilers.
redacted.
Spoiler.
That's the only reason to watch. I'm sorry. Redacted.
No,
If
okay,
if a movie's too old, you can't really worry about spoilers anymore.
It
It's
came out
not
like
that
a
old
year
though.
ago.
It's not that
yeah,
old. I'm sorry.
it's like a year or 2 years old.
But it's one of those things like you won't watch it unless you know, like, because it's
Yeah.
not that good.
I actually enjoy it as like I never played the game, so I
That's
did
the
play the
thing.
quarry. I did play quarry,
I
and I
love the
really like
Quarry.
quarry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so good. But I appreciated like because in a video game you're just dying over and over again until you like figure out how to not
Yes.
die. And
I
so the movie
know.
it makes that feel real.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm like,
that's
oh,
not
this is an
even
accurate video game movie because you just die
sure.
over and over again.
But that's not even how that game functions. It's not even that type of game though.
I know,
So
yeah.
anyway, doesn't matter. So redacted. But but the video game Until Dawn is an amazing game. Super fun, super cinematic, really holds up. I've had like non-gamers play it too because it's really fun to play, like even with a group where you're like, oh my god, okay, you guys, like, what should I do right now? What should I have the character do, or like whatever. And so like it's basically like playing through a slasher movie. So even if you're a non-gamer, highly recommend. And the Quarry is like that. Anyway, in the introduction of the Until Dawn game, they play the O Death song again, like another version. Later, they did another like series of games called the Dark Anthology, which included like Man of Medan and a few other games. And they did another version of the O Death song, which is this version, the Khemmis version. And so they just kind of kept reusing it because, of course, it's a fucking badass song. And Khemmis does a great version of it. The original, the Until Dawn game does a great version of it. And it just really brings you into this world of like, shit, we're going to see some like really dark stuff. None of the characters are safe. And it just gives you that slasher vibe. But at the same time, like if you go back to like actually hearing like other versions of the song, there are some really haunting, gorgeous iterations of it. I think they did a version in Fargo. They did a version in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Like, and so you can basically find like whatever type of music you're into, you can like find a version of this song that fits that. And the lyrics they're just gonna give you goosebumps. It's just this like desire to like just be spared by death just a little bit longer. And I think everyone can relate to that. Well, most people, can relate to that. And so, yeah, highly recommend. It's a real struggle to select just one version when there's hundreds out there. So
Any
There's
other
not
thoughts?
there's not a reggae version of this, so
there's
I'm
not. Oh,
so
someone get on that. Come
there's an
on,
opportunity there to bust out your steel
someone do
drums
it.
and say Irie
Yeah.
to O Death, I just yeah, but I was introduced to this song through the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack,
Sure.
which is a fantastic soundtrack. So yeah, I mean, I think this is the right version of this song to be on a playlist because there's actual music involved and it's not
Yeah.
just the vocalization. So
Mhm.
yeah, this is a great rendition and it's the first time I've heard of Khemmis. So
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I had never heard of this band really, because I mean it's right up my alley of the type of music I listen to usually. Yeah, they have the kind of the doom metal sludge kind of chugging riffs, but
Mhm.
the lead singers are doing like power ballad vocals,
Yeah.
which I mean I don't know if that mixes for everybody. But then after listening to this, I found that they do a cover of Ronnie James Dio's "Rainbow in the Dark," which I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." I mean, yeah, their vocals definitely fit for that. So, but yeah, again, I looked into this song as well, and it appears it's like an old traditional Appalachian
Mhm.
folk song. And interestingly enough, I found that it appears in the same folk song, the Roud Folk Song Index, which is just it's an index of all of these old type of songs, and it's like it catalogs like 25,000 different songs that of like unknown origin, essentially, that are born out of just kind of oral tradition, really. And so this one is listed as number 4,933 in that index.
Oh.
And then I learned that the Henry Lee song, under its original title, Young Hunting, is also listed as it's like number 27 or something in that same index. So both, yeah, we have two songs today that appear in the folk song index, cataloged under their, because it also catalogs all the various versions of these songs, because like some of the Oh Death versions go on with like longer conversations, or they are done in different dialect, you know, depending on like what state this was done, because like it's Virginia, North Carolina, and so like you know, various levels of both accent and literacy as these songs were written down. So
just the discussion about this and Henry Lee and the other songs, it makes my heart warm to know that I'm not the geekiest person around music or other things, because I will often go down these rabbit holes, and you're like, you know, several hundred years in, and you look at it and like hours have gone by. But it makes me feel good that other people do that too. With this song specifically, I liked that it had that gospel vibe that shifted into the dirge metal. It really actually gave me more of a Queensryche vibe. You know, something off of like Operation Mindcrime or something, but just because using the power ballad lyrics and the metal guitar that they go into, but it's just that was the vibe I got, was much more Queensryche, which obviously dates me. The algorithm on YouTube, though, knows me a little too well, because the song that it brought up immediately after this, after listening to Khemmis, was the Sisters of Mercy, Lucretia, My Reflection. And so it's like, oh, well, I guess they know me a little too well.
All right. Good talks about A Conversation with Death. Next, we have Japan, Halloween. Take it over, Ian.
So Japan is my favorite band. I love David Sylvian. The song Ghosts was another song that I belted out at karaoke at Crypticon last week. But we didn't have any songs on the second playlist that was just titled Halloween. And this is the only song on this this episode that is just titled Halloween. Yeah, so Japan is a British band. David Sylvian is their lead vocalist, guitar player, and keyboards. Steve Jansen on drums and other percussion. Ghosts was a top hit in 1982, which is the same year that Whodini formed. So, you know, maybe Haunted House of Rock was even influenced by this. Yeah, no, this is just a great song that talks about an experience on Halloween. And I love new wave. I love this era of music and this style of music, and it was going to be on the playlist eventually. So here it is with my theme of Japan.
Well, I like this song a lot. Japan really gives me a Duran Duran vibe. So I mean, if you've never heard of Japan but you have heard Duran Duran, then it's like, okay, that's kind of where you need to have your headspace. But overall, I really think this shows the impact of Halloween as a holiday, and how it's just influenced so much of American music. And so many songs have Halloween either in the title, or they just recount things just both good and creepy, because you know, it's the kind of communal experience that at least through a certain, I don't know what kids today get out of Halloween, but you know, I remember going door to door to door and having a huge sack of candy and being all creepy out in the night. Just tons and tons of happy and creepy memories from Halloween.
Burning bodies hanging from poles. Would you say I remember Halloween?
I'd say you remember Halloween in that way. My memories of Halloween are probably a lot more related to your last song on the list today, but the English translation of the last song on the list. But this song, I just using those themes over and over again, it just hit me that it's, I mean, obviously there's a lot of Christmas songs, but you know, you don't find a lot of songs about traditional holidays. You know, do you find a lot of Memorial Day or Labor Day or 4th of July, or, you know, just Halloween is such a influential part of American culture and world culture even. But so that's what hit me about the Japan Halloween song.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts on Halloween?
I liked it. I liked it enough. British New Wave isn't totally my thing, so I didn't connect with it fully. But yeah, it was fine, and I thought the lyrics were interesting because it's not necessarily about Halloween, but again, another one of those troubled relationships, and it seemed like it's also comparing said relationship to the split of East and West Germany, which was very of the time, so it does date the song. But yeah, it was interesting in that way.
I think this is one of those another song that I had never heard before. And I wouldn't say I quite connected with it. I see the Duran Duran comparison, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it made me curious about the band Japan, especially with you saying it's your favorite band. I'm kind of it made me want to explore their backlog a little bit more because I really have no knowledge of them at all. So I'm gonna look into them on Spotify a bit more.
I think it really new wave is kind of a dated thing. There are a lot of ties to the Cold War, the end of World War II being an influence. Other bands from that era, Spandau Ballet, which is a reference to people being hung in Spandau outside of Germany
Okay.
So they're another new wave band. You've probably heard the song "True," but the name of the band is pretty gross when you actually know the origin. Haircut 100, all those kinds of. I'm just really into that sound and have
Okay.
been for a number of years now. So definitely recommend checking out Japan. Probably their most popular song is "Ghosts," which is a song about regret, and it is one of the most interesting instrumental pieces because it's all played on these different kinds of vibraphones and the hand pan and that kind of stuff. There's not much else to it besides melodic percussion. So
Okay. I put
cool.
that on
I'm
my list
glad I
to
was able to
listen to.
introduce you to all of that.
Yeah.
The next song is one of my favorites from before this. Mike is going to be talking about the Dead South. In Hell, I'll be good in good company.
Well, I picked this song because I figure it's also a murder ballad, but it's also, I think, a much more current example of what might be considered dark country or country goth. And I know there are probably bands that embody that more, but this is the one that lives rent free in my head. So I brought it to the table. I like that they use a cello as a bass guitar. I like that they just have this kind of alt vibe, and for the most part, I'm not a big fan of country, especially country pop. And I don't feel like that's a bad thing because country pop is so popular. They're not gonna miss me. But alt country, really alt country, bands like what is it, Southern Culture on the Skids, Nashville Pussy, but even other artists like Lucinda Williams. These are all country that I think is good. And of course, I like a lot of rockabilly, psychobilly, the Cramps, and Reverend Horton Heat, and all of that kind of good stuff. But so this I really like this song. I like the way it was done. I really like the music video, and just as an example of modern dark goth country is why I brought this to the table.
I was just gonna say, I remember when it came out, I was scrolling Facebook, and it just happened to be a suggested video, and I was hooked. I went down the rabbit hole and listened to a bunch of their music. It's a good jam.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the song when it came out as well because it does have those dark bluegrass vibes to it, but it did also feel like it's kind of the tail end of the collective conscious and fascination that the millennials, I think, specifically had with bands like Mumford and Sons that were doing the revitalization of bluegrass and alt country, things that were in opposition to Taylor Swift, and even before that, the really overproduced country music that was just not just Shania Twain, but I mean the real post 9/11 wave the flag type of shit. The stuff that just became over prevalent and just the overproduced CMA fucking garbage. Sorry if that sorry if Travis Tritt's your boy, but it ain't it ain't for me because I like you, Mike. I think I'm a much more like I'm into the outlaw country and the older country. Give me the Guthries, give me original Hank Williams, and I'm all down for that. But yeah, what emerged from like pop country is just like unlistenable. But I think what came after that, Mumford and Sons and this band, like it was all a response to that of like, yeah, let's strip it down. Let's strip it down to like 3 instruments, not overproduce it, not, wave a flag. And yeah, so you get interesting looks at music and a reattempt to, bring like Appalachian roots as well. So yeah, I was into this song, but I feel like I haven't heard more from them since. This was 2014 and I don't know, they haven't popped up again. So I feel like it's on me for not looking for it, but at the same time we're not popularizing it.
Yeah, this was my favorite of the songs that were added to the playlist for today. Like right off the bat, I knew that. This is just my vibe. Like I mean, I have a lot of different like styles of music that I like, but this is just one of them. I just knew it right away when I heard it. And it sounds like something that would have been on fucking Justified. Like it's just I mean, I had whole playlists of songs that I'm like, they should have put this on Justified. Like this should have been playing in the background when Raylan did something cool. And that was just my litmus test for a while. And this song is just awesome. I just really, really liked it. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a millennial. I also don't like the stupid like pop country stuff, and I much prefer the stuff that came after in response. And yeah, this is that to me. So thank you for adding it.
Yeah. It really does sound like just a West Virginia coal miner song that we'd sing around the campfire.
Hell yeah.
Again, but it's from 2014.
Yeah.
Ian, any thoughts?
I'm just the biggest Brad Paisley fan, so I just have to no. Nope, no, I have nothing else to add that hasn't already been said about this song. It's great.
All right. We'll kick it a little heavier for Steve with Cannibal Corpse, Kill or Become.
Yeah, I'm just being stupid, and any chance I get to make people listen to Cannibal Corpse is funny to me. So
that's fair.
But I did specifically pick this song, Kill or Become, because one, I mean, if anybody knows anything about Cannibal Corpse, it is some of the most indistinguishable lyrics you can listen to. Like, it's both performed with that deep grizzly bear growl, but also a lot of the times it's done at speed. But the chorus or refrain of this song, Kill or Become, when Corpse Grinder is yelling, fire up the chainsaw, hack their fucking heads off, is such a horror movie element. Like you could easily drop this into any zombie film or Evil Dead film, and it would feel like it would be like a power fantasy, which is like the basic, gist of the entire song. If you read the entirety of the lyrics, it is just documenting a zombie uprising and how you have to kill all of the zombies or become a zombie. That's just, and this is every Cannibal Corpse song. It is the most face value, dumb shit lyrics you can find. And that's why people love them. Like, they're not trying to think about it. They are trying to bang their heads or run into each other. They are trying to listen to the loudest car crash of cymbals that they can. And that's what Cannibal Corpse music is for. It's not to think deep about it. But again, it really feels like, the 2016 Doom video game when he's screaming fire up the chainsaw. It rules. That's all it is. It's fucking, this is my dumb guy music take. This shit rules. Let's smoke cigarettes and fucking drink beer to this.
Sometimes things are just cool, and that's how it is,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a fun band. I saw them live in Spokane, and before they were on set, I happened to go out in the lobby, and Corpse Grinder was out there just nerding out about WoW with these 2 other dudes, and I was like,
oh yeah,
hell yeah, they're giant nerds. I love it.
I mean, one of the most infamous things is like the lead singer of Cannibal Corpse, who sings all these songs about dismemberment and death and all that. Is just like he's a big sweetheart and a nerd, and like he loves to play crane games and win stuffed animals, and then all the stuffed animals he wins, he'll like donate to children's hospitals and shit like that. And like he loves fucking Legos and nerd shit. But then also, sings about splattering people across the, wall and, destroying zombies and murder and just everything in the world. But hey, he's a nice guy.
All right. Any other thoughts on Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah, this is the first Cannibal Corpse song I've heard. So thank you for introducing me to them, Steve. I mean, I always knew about them, but I just don't seek out this kind of music very often. But yeah, I pulled up the lyrics so I could understand what was happening, and I was like, yeah, fucking cool. This is just cool. Like, yeah, it's not trying to be anything else. It's just fucking cool. So thank you.
Steve, I love you.
Yeah.
And okay, I like the lyrics a lot more than I like the song.
Sure, yeah.
I can get on board with the vibe of the lyrics and how badass they are for sure.
Yeah.
Cannot make it through the vocals. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
You're looking for the alt country cover.
Yeah, sure. Give me that. Give me the justified version, okay? Yeah, no, it's just that's just never been my thing. That type of type of singing is not my thing.
It's not anybody's thing but mine for whatever reason. But that's also just why I included it, because I just like inflicting this dumbass loud music on people from time to time. So, yeah.
I was like at the gym, the playlist was like playing, and then right as soon as that one came on, I just like stepped off the treadmill, and I was like, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You stepped off the treadmill to go lift weights, because that's weightlifting music. That's not running music.
Squat rack. Yeah.
No, I have a long history with metal and industrial and whatnot, but the death metal guttural vocalizations have always they've never done anything for me. So I again had to call up the lyric sheet to know what they were talking about. But the hard, fast metal I did like. You could definitely see this as a straight zombie song, kill them or become zombies. But depending upon how, intellectual you want to get about it, a lot of times these songs end up being kind of a metaphor for the conformity that most of society has. Society is zombies, and you need to do what you have to do. And of course, their thing is to have a very violent metaphor for how to defeat the zombies of normal life. And I mean, I feel like in that respect, it's something that even a movie like Shaun of the Dead
oh my God.
did try and
I was
address.
literally just about to say that. That's so funny. That was exactly where my mind went to. Yes. Or that's like, the zombie is like, yeah, your dead end job that you go to every day. That's where you are the zombie. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dawn of the Dead, they all return to the shopping mall. It's always just like a metaphor for consumerism and how we mindlessly go through our habits. Yeah. Well, and even if you go back to pre-George Romero zombies, like the Haitian zombie lore is about being like brainwashed to like serve a master. It was basically like even in death you can't avoid slavery. So I think it's always been there. It's just constantly ingrained.
Yeah. And I can definitely appreciate the like drive to just inflict this on other people. Last night when Ian and I were hanging out, he let me pick a song for the jukebox, and I tried to throw on Raining Blood by Slayer because that's my like Freebird. People like play Freebird, play Skinnerd. I like, especially when they're playing like acoustic, I like to yell, play Slayer.
Even the jukebox denied you because
we got 2 minutes to midnight though.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Iron Maiden's actually good.
So I think maybe the solve to this is Tori Amos did a cover of Raining Blood. So I think now it's her time to start doing a cover of Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
And then it'll be, listenable and understable.
And then go on tour together.
Her cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit is just an entirely different song that hits in a different way too. So I like her cover versions.
All right. Are we ready to get on to the next song then? We
Yeah.
got John Murphy in the house in a heartbeat. Kelly, let us know about this.
Okay, so I figured, coming from the Final Girls podcast, that I should actually do something that was semi-relevant to our podcast. And I did this one because, well, for a lot of reasons. First of all, because it's a badass fucking song, but also because it is relevant to one of the very first episodes that we did, which was 28 Days Later, and one of our favorite Final Girls, who is Selena from 28 Days Later. And this song is so memorable, and again, it's just one of those movie scores that as soon as you hear it kind of start to rise in the background, like you get goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking of it. um it comes at like a really critical time in the movie. Everything's going down, and they 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 use it in some of the later movies too. I have not seen.
28 years later.
No, I saw that. I have not seen
Bone
Bone
Temple.
Temple.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's so much better. It's
So
on
Okay.
Netflix. Watch it.
I know. I keep hearing that. I know. And I heard that it was used in that one also. So I'm excited. I also have heard that it's been used in like some commercials and stuff. What the fuck are you doing? Leave it alone. But anyway, it's such a memorable piece of music. I really debated between this one or Hello Zepp from Saw, because those are my two favorites, like score songs from like horror movies. I think that those like both like really get your blood pressure up, and they really get your heart racing, and they both come at scenes in the movie where you're like, shit is going down. And I mean, with Saw, it's really cool because also it's like, well, I won't spoil anything for the like two people listening to this podcast who haven't seen Saw, but so yeah, I think that even if you don't remember the like title of this song, if you don't even remember this as a song from 28 Days Later, as soon as you hear it, you're going to like make that connection to that movie. So uh yeah, I would love to hear what people remember about it. So
Yeah, when I threw it on at first, like title and everything, I didn't really think about it,
Mhm.
and I was just like, it was playing, and I'm like playing around on my PlayStation, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I'm like, oh my God, oh duh, I know
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, exactly. As it kicks up, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
good one. It's
So yeah.
definitely one of those very iconic scores.
Mhm.
I could see where, especially this kind of comes in that category of music that if you know what it's about, then it has like lots of meaning for you. But I could definitely
Yeah.
see where disconnected from everything, they might say, "Oh, this is cool. This is cool. Let's use it in this commercial that has nothing to do with something." But it reminded me of things like, Tubular Bells, or
Yeah,
like some of the John Carpenter music from Halloween. You hear
totally.
that stuff and it's so deeply connected to the movies that they're part of. But if you heard it separate, like you hear Tubular Bells separate from The Exorcist, and it's like, oh, hey, that's kind of cool, electronica from the
Yeah,
70s.
exactly.
But it's just it has that such strong connection to a certain theme that
Mhm,
it's in your head is where it becomes important.
mhm.
About you guys, but like the commercial use, I'm gonna have to look up what actual commercials, because all I can think is just really dramatic scene and then Febreze.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
what
look
do
it
you
up right
advertise?
now. I'm gonna look it up right
It just keeps going and going.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So yeah, have the Energizer Bunny walking down, the
The
bridge.
fucking road. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh man, good
I
times.
yeah. I do like this song a lot, and just like the soundtrack in general for the movie, because it does still connect for me, at least, to Muse again, because like we're at that time, and it has that kind of like a little bit of that post rock, but it's also very minimal, and especially the way it builds.
Mhm.
I love the way the song builds,
Yeah.
because it starts out very simple, and then just constantly adding a new instrument and a new like aggression to the song as it builds it's fantastic. It is one of the great soundtracks that isn't like John Williams.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think music is really important to this series. Bone Temple is my second favorite zombie movie that has ever been made, right behind Return of the Living Dead. And music is incredibly important to it. This track does show up. But what's interesting about that movie is a lot of the music is actual diegetic records being played by Ralph Fiennes' character. So I have been jokingly saying that it is a diegetic musical in the way that like Wicker Man is a musical.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
And I think it's really a good movie. I highly recommend checking it out. The needle
Yeah.
drops in it are very good, but yes, this song does show up, and it's just it is anxiety inducing. It's great.
Yeah.
I definitely think we need to have an episode just talking about 28 later series.
Yeah, or we could do a musical horror episode so I can just talk about Wicker Man and Bone Temple. But
Yeah. We can do both.
You just have a Nicolas Cage episode and just do just Wicker Man.
That Wicker Man.
Oh, damn it.
You could do a whole
Come
episode
on.
you could do a whole episode on Ian's headcanon, because he has a lot of interesting headcanon about movies.
Oh boy.
It's all the bees, man. Let's see. Our last but not least song, Junky featuring DAZBEE. Happy Halloween, Ian.
Speaking of bees, we've got DAZBEE here. Okay, so in order to understand this song, you have to go down a bit of a rabbit hole, which I did the other day because I actually just learned of this song before putting it on the playlist. I was looking up Japanese Halloween novelty songs to try
As
and
you
stay
do.
on my theme. Yeah, just learning new things about J-pop. And I learned about Vocaloid performers, which are producers who use a Yamaha-based synthesizer to create vocals for their tracks, because the original version of the song did not have a human singer on it. It had Kagamine Rin and Len, which are Vocaloid forms built in CV02. And so Krypton Future Media is this software company that develops these things for the Vocaloids. Kagamine, Ren, and Lin are the second generation of this. There are anime characters that represent these singers. But then this version of the song is actually sung by a Vocaloid utaite, which is a Vocaloid singer, and it is a cover singer who is actually a K-pop star named DAZBEE, who sang the human version of this song. So Junky, as a producer, he made a song, had a human singer come take over the Vocaloid parts, but you still hear some of the Vocaloid parts in it. And so that is how we came up with Happy Halloween.
I'm learning a lot today.
Yeah, I really just
Wow.
wanted to talk about J-pop. And this was my excuse to do J-pop and K-pop in a Halloween novelty fashion. Yeah. So it is kind of a grating song. I'll say it's, most J-pop is very overproduced pop music, and if you don't like it, I understand. But yeah, no, it was interesting to learn about these different things, and just there's we live in such an individualistic society in the United States, right? Western culture is really about individualism, and we are the apotheosis of that like individualistic mindset. Whereas in a lot of Asian countries, like Japan, individualism is not like the main thing. Like you may never even know a mangaka's real name, like artists, stuff like that. They often stay hidden or as part of a company because it is not about having that personal level of celebrity. And so I think Vocaloid artists are just another manifestation of that.
My younger son and his girlfriend, who are both in their early mid-20s, they actually went on a trip up to Canada recently to see Hatsune Miku, another Vocaloid artist who's very big.
That's the only one I know of.
A huge live concert for a computer-generated anime-based singing character, and it's just so I've had this kind of Vocaloid adjacent existence for quite a while. But I did like I have definitely been a big fan of bands like Shonen Knife and whatnot for a long time. So that idea around this kind of the Japanese carnival theme and the happy go lucky lyrics that have possibly some darker undertones. It was really I was thinking that this is probably a good song that you could use, a gateway song that you could use to subvert children into liking creepier music.
So I'm looking at the translation of the lyrics right now. I mean, it sounds like you're saying that there tends to be like undercurrents in these songs. So what is your, can you explain to us like the interpretation of this?
Just pulling up when I was listening to it, listening to it in Japanese, and then looking at the English lyrics. There's this a Japanese thing where they'll use English words in Japanese songs, and so that kind of really brought back a lot of what was going on. But it's again, it's kind of that whole lyrically, it's a lot more like, say, the Japan song, where it's all of this. It's not like the Danzig song or whatnot, where it's nobody's hanging from a pole, but it's all very happy parts of Japanese interpretation of Halloween. And so really just the idea that you could take this song about Halloween and it's so happy, and then you could transition into other songs like Japan and then eventually Danzig, and so you could use it as a first step in a chain of progression towards obviously music that you could use in Justified.
Well, and in doing research and listening to a lot of J-pop Halloween novelty songs, a lot of that stuff it's like a factory assembly line where they're just like, let's take these things. Like, I mean, the lyrics to this are just, hey, it looks like it's about to get dark. Maybe we should go eat some desserts, and ghosts are in turnips. That's so fun. Like, and that's like, I listen to a few other songs, and it's when they get to the like loan word or English speaking part of the song, it's just like, oh, this is what you think Halloween is like when you just look at America and you're like, oh, America is all Hollywood, right? Like, so that the entire country is just represented by Hollywood in a lot of Japanese people's minds. And so it's like, okay, this is what happens in the movies. That is what Halloween is. That is what Christmas is. It's all consumerism. It's all like, we're going to go party, and like, maybe you'll find someone to kiss by the end of the night. And it's like, okay, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's not that far off.
There's a really strong tradition in Japanese horror that's very aligned to Japanese culture, very ghost and demon oriented, rather than I don't know that older Japanese horror has much to do with things like slashers and cannibalistic serial killers like Sonny Bean and whatnot. But it's very, very ghost, or at least the ones that I keep seeing. When I'm watching things like Mermaid Forest, Mermaid Scar, and just other things. Very ghost and demon oriented. So I think there's definitely a Japanese edge that you could get people into through a song, but definitely taking kids who aren't creepy and making them creepier.
Yeah.
The relationship to death and like the spirit world and stuff is just different because Shintoism and Buddhism is everywhere. So whether you're in a big city like Tokyo or Kyoto, or you're in a like smaller town like Shirakawa-go, like there are just shrines and temples everywhere. So the relationship is just quite a bit different. And that's why like you watch a movie like Pulse and then you watch the American remake and you're like, they just have such a different relationship to death and the afterlife and spirits and whatnot.
Although then it's kind of interesting when you watch like Ju-on and then you watch like the American Grudge, and then they still tried, like, since they still kept it set in Japan, and then they still try to incorporate some of that to like keep that that aesthetic and that history like within the, I mean, I don't hate that movie as much as some people do. So like I kind of appreciated that element is still included, but
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, two of my favorite Japanese films are also ghost based, but like Kwai-don, which you can find us talking about a lot every now and then on our show. I mean, it's all ghost stories. And then the other one we talk about a lot is Samurai Resurrection, which yeah, and you were just talking about how, like, there's a lot of Buddhists and Shintoists, but this one's actually about a Christian who was killed and got so fucking mad he decided to destroy all of Tokyo as a ghost. But it's still as a ghost. So, but yeah, I don't know much about J-pop, but I am pretty familiar with like just the Japanese noise rock scene. And like Mike said it earlier, like there's a lot of usage of just like English phrases in like bands like Guitar Wolf and Boris and Electric Eel Shock. Like they'll just throw in like English phrases just to be appealing. So like even though you may not understand anything else about the song, you'll get a phrase of like, love is everything, or rock and roll can save the world, and you can just connect with those bits and enjoy the rest of the noise rock, the powers of those songs. So like, yeah, it's similar in construction, in that you may not understand the Japanese lyrics, but you can still get oh, happy Halloween, yay, hooray. And then like the rest of the music is so bright and bubbly. It reminded me, I had to listen to it right after this song, but I think I showed it to you, Anne. But it was that song that came out last year that was like it's a parody song, but it's about the ghost of Halloween. Boo, I got you, and
So
it's just
good, so good.
I'll send it to you, Kelly. If you seem
Okay, I'm
confused.
curious. Yes, I'm really curious.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I mean, if you can look it up, just
Yeah.
like look up "Boo," 3 exclamation points by Pimations. You'll love the hell out of this song.
Okay,
But it
okay.
just made me think of that, and I had to listen to that right after
Okay, this looks fun.
because it's just such a bright and bubbly, silly song.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I have a final thought because I'm also covering the Seattle International Film Festival, and last night I went and saw the movie Obsession,
Oh yeah.
and
Ooh.
that is just a freaky movie. And I was describing it without it doesn't actually give away any spoilers, but it's like as if Companion and Weapons got together and had the freakiest what the F movie you could think.
Okay, I'm listening because Companion was one of my top favorites of last year. So
A good
Yep.
one.
Love
Yeah.
Weapons, love Companion. The marketing campaign for Obsession has been kind of turning me off in the last couple of days. It's like every podcast I listen to, I have to listen to like a minute-long ad for Obsession. And I go to the movies at least once a week, so like trying to
is-
avoid that trailer, but it is
It
the
is
last
far
trailer they showed.
freakier. It is far freakier than the ad campaign.
I will be very
in
excited
defense.
for it to come out because I won't have to see ads anymore. But also, I hope it'll be a good time in the theaters. That's like 2 weeks away from the time of recording.
thus far, I
Yeah.
have avoided seeing a single trailer. So
Same.
yes.
I did.
I-
Yeah.
Lucky y'all.
Yeah, I saw one and then one last night when I mentioned it, and that's when I got that rant last night from Ian. So
Yeah, I've avoided everything because I don't need it. Because I was familiar with the director, Curry Barker.
Oh yeah, I know.
We talked about his film from 2024, Milk and Cereal.
I love
And,
Curry.
yeah. We love that film, and we love all of his like early,
Yeah.
or not just early, but like
His skits and
all
stuff.
his shorts. Yeah, all the shorts
Yeah.
and skits that
their
he
sketch
does.
comedy is so funny.
So amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. So yeah, I didn't need any marketing for this, but I
Yeah.
can see why they're pushing it, because if this is like his first big kind of studio
Mhm.
release, I assume. So
Yeah.
good for him though.
Totally. They're taking all these like big chances on like we have like
YouTubers
Kim
and-
Parsons doing like the back rooms, and
Yeah.
we just
Mhm.
had Markiplier's movie, Chris Stuckman's movie. Like hell yeah, let's do it.
Well,
Yeah.
but Markiplier was all completely self-funded. Nobody would take
Sure.
any chance on him.
That's a
But
good point. That's a good point.
yeah, but with the success of Iron Lung, we're going to get a lot more
Mhm.
mortuaries assistants, and I know how
I
Steve feels about that movie.
That movie is so bad. Damn it. I know.
Eek. See, at
Un-
least
Unwatchable.
until Dawn tried to do something different.
I know.
Mortuary's assistant just tried to be the game, but boring.
Yeah.
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 But to be fair, Until Dawn the game is basically a movie. Like, you could have just
Yeah.
done
Yeah, yeah.
that. Like, in Mortuary Assistant, the game is not like very cinematic. So you can't
No.
just like port that over into a movie. It doesn't work.
Be like making Phasmophobia the movie, but it's just an episode of Ghost Hunters.
Well, okay. I mean, well, that's just Grave Encounters then. Like,
Yeah.
That's right,
It's like,
right.
oh,
Yeah, that
we
is.
just made Grave Encounters with a different IP name. Don't.
Yep. Yep. Oh, well, that was a lot of fun. 12 new songs to add to the playlist. And, every 3 months we do these episodes and we just keep adding more and more songs. Thank you for joining us so much, Kelly
Thank
and
you.
Steve.
Thank you.
Thank
Tell
you.
folks where they can find you.
Yeah, and I realized I kind of forgot to like mention what our podcast actually is. So let me do a quick plug so Sarah doesn't kill me later. Okay, so really quick, our podcast is called Final Girls. We cover a different Final Girl every Wednesday. So your Ripleys, your Sydneys, although we have not done Sydney yet, including like more niche Final Girls. So we just did Geraldine from Demon Knight. We're doing Kirsty from Hellraiser very soon, and we also just did my favorite Final Girl, Linda from Send Help. So come and listen to all of our episodes, and you can find us at Final Girls Podcast on Blue Sky, or Final Girls The Podcast on Instagram, or final-girls.com. And we have a Patreon in which we also cover Final Cats, Final Daddies, and Final-ish Girls. Which are like Final Girls from non-horror movies like Marla from Fight Club and stuff like that. So thanks for having me. I almost said thanks for having us, because that's what we always say, but thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
And you can find Halloween is Forever just everywhere. Just type in Halloween is Forever. We come up somewhere, somehow, but we're on Blue Sky, Instagram, and then go to patreon.com/Halloween is Forever for all kinds of goodies. We do write-ups and reviews, and we do extra bonus episodes, and you can watch our episodes happen live. So you can do all that. And yeah, it's just, if you are not precious about your films, because we do just goof on everything. We do love films, but we also just goof on them too. We ain't got no problem with that. And you can find a handful of episodes that Kelly's on as well. So she shows up on our show a bunch. We like having her.
I love being on it. It's my favorite.
Yes, and I have also been there, I think,
Mhm.
5 times now. Yeah. Hey, I need to win another showdown, because the punishment video that I first recommended, they reshot a bunch of scenes and made it 20 minutes longer. So I want to be able
cool.
to recommend it.
What was that? What was it?
It's, it's Diced. It's a movie, a slasher movie about a scarecrow. And my friend Jason, who does a lot of special effects for the Halloween Horror Hour, plays Benny the Scarecrow in that movie.
What?
And I originally had recommended the 75-minute version, but they took it off of Tubi to add another 20 minutes. So,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that makes the
It wa-
movie better every single time.
Yeah, more content.
I feel like it was like literally that week it happened too, because like
Yeah.
Ann told us to watch this movie, and we're like, okay, yeah, we'll do it. And then we could not find it on any, like, a lot of the places said it was streaming. We could not find it. And then I found an article on, I think, the director's Facebook that was like,
Yeah.
we're taking it back to the lab and we're adding more to it, and like getting it prepped for also the release of Dice 2. I was like, oh,
Yep.
well, all right, Ian, we can't watch this. What else you got?
Yeah, and then I had to send you Frogman, which is now getting a sequel. So,
Yeah. I'm more excited for the sequel than I was the first one. The first one was fine. The
It
sequel
was
sounds
basically
nuts,
Blair
which
Witch.
I'm good
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also find us on Patreon over Come Join the Graveyard Gang. We've got, bonus episodes. Sam and I are covering all of the Treehouse of Horror over there, which is a lot of fun, doing deep dives on all the stuff they parody and spoof, and I'm getting a little bit of education on animation and stuff like that. You can head over to our shop. We have action figures, t-shirts, Blu-rays are now available, as well as our VHS tape. And make sure to just watch the show on Tubi, Roku, Plex, YouTube, or if you're in the Seattle area, fire up channel 28 on your basic cable box every Friday night at 8 p.m. to watch the Halloween Horror Hour. Anything else you want to add, Tony? I did that. I did the end run there. So yeah,
you definitely had it. Thanks for allowing me to have a chance at hosting. I had a good time. Some good beats, good people. Mike, did you have anything that you wanted to plug?
a lot of what I've been doing recently has been helping out Ian on the Halloween Horror Hour. But you can always go to rewiredgeek.com or just throw Rewired Geek, one word, into Google, and almost everything that I have done online pops right up.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much my focus lately has been the horror podcast, doing mostly video game content with Discount Dracula. We've been talking, we talked about Silent Hill. We're about to film or record our last episode on the Resident Evil games. We're planning tackling the films. Yeah, so lots of good content from everybody.
And to make reference to a different podcast we did, I don't know if it's out yet, about Aliens, the 40th anniversary for Aliens. Game over, man! Game over!
That came out for the 426 week, and yeah, so go check all of those fun things out. We have a rotating group of people, so there's new hosts basically every week on this show. It's always just kind of a grab bag of who's going to be here.
All right, and have a great day.
Yep.
And happy July.